Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and our next guest is the founder and CEO of Black Men Heal. Join us today to share more about their work, and we welcome Tasnim Sulaiman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Good morning. Tell us about all of this wonderful stuff that you're doing in our wonderful community.
Yes, I love talking about Black Men Heal because it's amazing, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a part of it. I am so honored and so blessed to be a vessel to bring something that is this important for our community to us. So Black Men Heal is a nonprofit organization that I started in July 2018. I started it as a solution to the question, why aren't more Black men going to therapy? I myself, I'm a licensed therapist and I'm in private practice. And so for years, I've seen many people come into therapy. I work with couples relationships, but I just did not feel that I was getting enough Black men. I had a very diverse practice. I would get men of other races, but it was always a very limited amount of Black men.
Why is that?
Well, the main three reasons that our organization, what we do, we focus on three of the main barriers. So I did some research, and so there's many different reasons. Access and opportunity is a big one. Health disparities exist on the mental health side as well. Is also right. Structural, systemic racism. We could talk about a ton of reasons, but our program specifically focused on three of those main barriers of why Black men might not go to therapy. One is cost. It's very expensive to see a therapist. It's over $100 a session. So everybody might not be able to have that. You might not have health insurance. So our program, we eliminate costs. We give men 8 free sessions. It's like a jump start. So we say we jumpstart their healing journey. We give them 8 free sessions. Another reason was the lack of cultural competency. So if you do have insurance, for example, you might call a number on the back of your insurance card. 9 out of 10 times you're going to get a list of people who don't look anything like you. So another reason was cited was that Black men wanted to feel as though anybody would want to feel like you go to therapy and you don't have to explain what it's like to be a person of color in America, right? Like that you don't have to spend your time educating somebody on that or getting them to understand it or to feel non-judged and to feel warm, safe. So what we do is we recruit therapists of color to give the sessions to the men, to give the free sessions to the men. So we ask therapists of color, if anybody's watching this, to give 1 hour a week within your schedule. We all have very, very busy schedules if you're a therapist, but to devote 1 hour a week to this mission to make space for one of the men. And then the third—
when you talk about, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, the third thing that we eliminate for men is the stigma. So there's
there you go. That's what I was going to ask you about.
Stigma, right? That one is, we talk about
the pronoun stigma.
Absolutely. And within our own communities as well. So the idea of mental illness being, no one wants to feel pathologized, right? And people of color, we come from backgrounds where honestly, you know, our pains and our hurts have often been mislabeled as strengths. We've been through so much trauma, so many layers of pain and so many layers of hurt, but we're so resilient that often Black pain is misconstrued for Black strength, right? So this stigma, if you go and ask somebody for help, it feels like you're not being strong. And that especially so for men when it comes to masculinity. So those are the three things that we eliminate in our program. By eliminating those barriers, we are opening up this space and just targeting men of color specifically. So we're saying, hey, you're invited to a party and you get in for free. You get VIP treatment, King. We love and uplift our men, and it's really working very well.
Well, what do you tell people who need mental health, but they feel like, I don't need to go to the doctor? Because people talk about it all the time, you know, you need to get some help. No, I don't need any help. I got this. I'm okay. I'm okay. But then that coupled with the stigma, they just stay and just absorb everything themselves. How do you reach out to them to get them to come to see a person like you?
So what we do is we focused on using the men that we service. They become mental health advocates within themselves. So as opposed to me, the therapist, or being another woman telling a Black man what he needs to do. That's not what this program is at all.
Yeah.
The men that come through our program, they transform and evolve. We actually ask them to go into their own communities and start conversation. When you're in the barbershop, just start a conversation about mental health and the importance of it. Talk about something other than sports, or cars or women. Talk about things that you're really struggling with. Our slogan is healed men, heal men. So what we're seeing is that Black men are more likely to listen to somebody who's within their peer group, for one, and someone who looks like them, a man who's been through similar experiences. So we ask our men, go share it with your homies, your cousin, your brothers, your sons, and they will listen more to you than they will to us. So we really look for men who are ready. We don't, because it's free, we make sure that the men are understanding the value. This is a value of about $1,000 that we are donating
Yeah.
to men. And it's a labor of love. We want to make sure that we get men who are ready to commit to that process.
So you say that men are suffering in silence because of the fears that being vulnerable goes against masculinity.
Absolutely.
Explain that.
Yeah, so men have that extra mask. They're raised. This comes from our conditioning. I mean, we could go all the way back into the days of slavery and look at the just the generational impacts of all of that, right? But specifically when it comes to men, there's this very false idea that showing emotion and showing your feelings is non-masculine, that it's a sign of weakness, which it is not. I just want to say, because being vulnerable, if anybody's ever had to do it or try, it's terrifying. It's scary. It comes with a risk. So it actually takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable. It's not a weakness, but
Yeah.
idea that feelings, like think about little boys when they, we start conditioning boys when they're younger. If you have a 2-3-year-old little boy that falls down and gets a cut, he might get a message of like, you okay? If he comes and cries and wants some, TLC from mom or dad, whereas little girls will get nurtured, right? We don't nurture boys up the way that we do girls. And that's a problem within itself, because what we've realized from doing Black Men Heal is not just Black men who are conditioned about this masculinity ideal. Black women and women are just as conditioned about this ideal of what masculinity should be. So we have discovered that as well.
So who knows if they need help from you? Who do you reach out to? How does one tell that they need help? What are the symptoms?
So that's a good question. Well, we get men a lot of our men, we started this whole mission and this whole movement from Instagram, from social media, is we put out the call, free therapy. We thought it would be hard to get men. It was not. It is not.
What?
We are flooded with men who want the free sessions. So we just started creating campaigns and content around what are men dealing with. So we might create content about depression and how it looks different in men. So a man who's following us on social media might be reading that and be like, hey, that resonates, something connects, that sounds familiar. I am feeling more aggressive. I am feeling more irritable, which, by the way, men's symptoms of depression look different. So they might not recognize that it is depression. So we do a lot of psychoeducating through our content. Like, we speak directly to men. And
Do you think due to COVID-19, this pandemic, that more men are suffering from depression and other symptoms associated with mental health, PTSD?
We have received a huge influx of applications from men since COVID and since the George Floyd murders and the race riots. There's been a huge influx of men who are now citing they just lost a family member from COVID. You're seeing the direct things that are the impacts from what we're dealing with, that they lost people, so grief and loss, PTSD, that, ever since the George Floyd murders, their increase in the hypervigilance. So they may not describe things as clinical as PTSD or depression. They describe symptoms. Clients describe symptoms. I'm having a difficult time sleeping.
And then you can figure it out after they tell you what they're going through.
Look at the applications, and then we're able to pair them up specifically based off what their specific needs are, and pair them with the right therapist who can help them with their needs, who's also within their own communities. within like 10 miles of them. So we use a very extensive matching system, like a dating system, like Match.com, where we put a lot of heavy emphasis on making sure the therapeutic relationship is going to be perfect, because that is the biggest indicator of whether therapy will be effective or not, is the
Yeah.
relationship.
Well, Tasnim, you know, we need your help.
Yes, and
I know there's a lot of people in our community that are not reaching out.
yeah.
So you have to find a way to reach out to them. And of course, we'll help you. We're going to get the word out. That's what we do here at the BronxNet. Do you have a website that you can display or talk about and send people to?
So you can follow us on social at Black Men Heal, or you can go to our website, www.blackmenheal.org. You can sign up for our next cohort of men. We'll be starting for individual therapy. We'll be starting in September, October. We have expanded to the New York area, which is great. We need more New York providers. Any clinicians who see this, we need more New York providers. We have a lot of New York men applying. We service right now Jersey, PA, New Jersey, and Delaware. But if you're in another state, you can sign up for our weekly virtual groups, which are amazing, called King's Corner. You can sign up anywhere within the world. Every week we have a different mental health topic applicable to men's mental health needs.
Tasnim Sulaiman, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
She's the founder and CEO of Black Men Heal. Heal, 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 heal. And what did you say? Healers heal?
Heal men, yes.
Healed men, heal men.
Absolutely, yes.
There you go. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe, be blessed.
Bye.
All right, we'll take a break right here. We've got more coming up next on Open